my first question will be like, um, as the head of the Department of the Tourism and Hospitality in Jamia Millia Islamia, uh, what insights could you share from the extensive experience of this field? Like how the field has evolved over years. Okay, so you have also served as an editor of Interjournals of Applied Hospitality and Tourism Research. So what was that? What were your insights? What are your insights? What can you like?
So, Mr. Anand, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. And I was very curious what was it all about. But since this was an educational magazine, and I'm always there, to even learn what I'm still a student, I'm a learner. So it's always interesting to have a two-way communication. A small correction over here. I was the head of the department. It's a 3-year-old, 3-year kind of a rotational post. So we are two senior professors in the department, and my 3 year just got over, and now I'm on a I'm not a head for another couple of years, and then I'll again become the head of the department. It goes on like that. So that was one correction that I had to do. And then you asked me about the changes in tourism. So I'll tell you, tourism and hospitality management in our country are very new. In fact, most of the universities don't even have uh, people from tourism background in the tourism department. And only of late, people have started completing their PhDs and joining the departments and taking the department and education forward. So unlike the other and even in the foreign countries, this is a relatively new field, and in India it's completely new. In fact, as far as the hospitality education is concerned, they were not into uh, that higher an education system, university system. They were more like institutes till a few years back, and now the universities have started to incorporate hospitality and tourism in their curriculum, as they're giving special focus to these departments because this is the future. See,
Yes.
no matter what, the travel can never stop. People can't stop traveling. They will never stop buying tickets. They will not never stop going on
Vacation.
rails, trains, boats, airs, ships, and call whatever. Now they're even going out of the earth. They are going to, the moon and other places for tourism purpose. And when people travel, they have to stay at some place. They have to go in for an accommodation, whether it's a luxury hotel or a small home stay or a guest house. And they are also going to eat somewhere or the other. So they are going to visit places, whether it is home cooked food or restaurant. So this field is always going to evolve, and there has been a lot of change. I will talk about it as we progress further. So the universities have realized also the job aspect of this area, that we are able to provide instant jobs, instant careers to our students. It's a completely job oriented program, both tourism and hospitality. And students, after their graduation and after their post graduation, both instantly get absorbed in the industry. So, therefore, the youth is really looking forward to joining these departments.
Definitely, ma'am. So this was like during the COVID, but even in the during the COVID period, the people were looking for some vacations and all the things. They were not even stopped by these, like what will happen in the COVID and so on. So the tourism cannot be avoided in any situation. Tourism and hospitality is a
Yes.
good has a good future.
But people started finding places, and then suddenly the homestay tourism became a booming business for people. I mean, if anyone had a flat in Uttarakhand or Himachal, so they would stay there for a while and rent it out. So somebody would want to come and stay. And I'll tell you, I've come across people who work in Goa because they don't have to go to office and they want to stay secluded, have a very good environment. And there are all these places all across India. So something new has come up. And it is like something kind over tourism was happening for certain places. Now people are looking for places which are quieter, calmer, and more sustainable.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Talking about your challenges, uh, what are the key challenges you have encountered while managing the department focused on tourism and hospitality in education, especially in the field of education? In your department, how you handled and what are the key challenges that you have encountered?
See, one of the challenge that we have is like, many a time people think that they have to be of certain type when they join the department. So not all kinds of students come, they think they have to be too smart or they have to be a very well spoken, their communication has to be excellent. So this is why many students don't come further. So this is one challenge that people think beforehand that you have to have certain kind of an education, but it is for everybody. I'll explain that all introverts, all extroverts, people who want to talk to others, people who don't want to talk to others, everybody can be easily they can get jobs in our industry. So this is one challenge that people don't have much idea about this particular field. So they have preempt, they think that we should not be joining. Secondly, once students join, because they become rather worldly wise, they become over smart very soon, I feel, because, they go for industrial training. And like, other students of the university, for example, the history students, they'll be very quiet, obedient, whatever you tell them to do, that go take the left path, so they'll quietly go. While our students think, if we have to go to the left path, is it going to be entertaining? Should I find another suitable path to go that side? So they are more worldly wise. So in some ways it can be a little challenging, and because they've seen the industrial side, so they become even more smarter. They can read your body language. It's not easy to tell them something and they'll just follow you. So they will use their own brain. So it's both boon and a bane that they become very smart very fast.
Definitely.
And as far as this challenge, another challenge is there that we are looking for a lot of the research is not so good. So in India, because it is still coming up field, so that is one major challenge when I'm going to talk. Like people are not able to come out with very good research papers or the researches as compared to the other areas and fields, and this is where we really need to work. So people have to also take that this discipline is equally serious and you can come up with very good research work. So this is one major challenge that I see exists in our field.
Definitely, there are a lot of changes. There are a lot of challenges over there in this field, especially.
Another thing I would, because I'm also from we take care of hospitality and tourism both. Now hospitality, if you have a department which is running a hospitality program, you have to invest a lot. You have to have a lot of stuff for the kitchen, huge equipment for the bakery, for the housekeeping. So it's heavy investment is required. So many a time the universities decide that who wants to invest so much, and they are skeptical. So this is I have not had a challenge because I have been able to do all that. I have been able to procure stuff, and we are running a department very well. But I'm not talking about myself, but in general, this is another issue that people face. They can't just start a department of hospitality. They have to have a lot of infrastructure before they start.
Definitely. So, recently, due to COVID as well, the travel and hospitality industry has gone many changes due to technology and changing of consumer preferences, what they prefer. Like there are many startups that are preparing, that are thinking about the consumers, what they are offering the people, the consumers, more options. So during this, how should the educational institution adapt their curricula to prepare students for these skills?
You have to be very digitally sound, and this is where again, not everybody can upgrade themselves by leap and bounds. For example, the faculty will be able to upgrade only up to a certain level. They will need that kind of an infrastructure, the way the digitalization has happened in the industry. And not even everybody in the industry will go right away. Only the top class, creme de la creme hotel and travel associations will have that kind of an integrated technology. So we will definitely, the educational institutions, we cannot match that kind of digitalization. But during COVID, this digitalization has taken a huge, development, and the students have learned a lot. And for example, these days, um, marketing is not the same as it used to be earlier. And now, because of AI and virtual, reality, people can actually go to so many places, especially during the COVID, and actually go. Sitting here, I can visit Scandinavia. I can walk on the streets of Scandinavia, and people can go and check the room out completely. Only they cannot be there physically. So to understand all that, and technologically, there are so many robots have replaced human beings, but that cannot happen in India because we have so much of manpower. People are ready. Robo is going to be more expensive than a human being in India, but across the world, that thing has definitely happened. It, that teaching of technology is very important. The faculty need to upgrade themselves, and the industry also need to pump in more money so that they are able to meet the global standard. So of late, you just go to the airport also. You just don't need your actual boarding pass also. Everything your face, even the Delhi, Indira Gandhi is in actually airports. So very soon you're going to go passport 3 years. Every single face and the everything. So that kind of a technology integration. And China, let me tell you about China. These hotels also, you just get into the hotel, you don't have to show anything, and they'll check you in. And it is becoming very common in countries like China and these US. But in India, we still don't have that kind of a
Still have manpowers.
not. So yes, the facial recognition is huge there.
Yes, ma'am. Just you mentioned about industry experience, industry academy, please. So, recently, I think UGC had started the professor of practice. So they have started this initiative. So in that context, what are your thoughts on that, and what benefits does it bring to the students, like the industry
Oh,
experience?
first of all, it's a very good, you know, uh, I should say, it hasn't happened everywhere, but it's a very good thought. I hope it starts happening practically. It happens because there is this limit of only 10%. So, for example, if there are 6 permanent lecturers in a department, then you can't really have a professor of practice unless and until you have 10 at least. So that practicality has not happened. But I would like to tell you, for example, I have worked in the industry for 10 years. I have altogether 25 years of experience, and I've been in teaching since 2008. So I can very easily boast that I have best of both worlds. But not everybody has been like that. So if we cannot actually hire a professor of practice right now because there is that limit of 10% and we don't have that many permanent faculty, so that we can hire people who are visiting and guest faculty, and we can cover that by having a lot of industrial visits, people from the industry visiting and giving guest lectures, and looking for teachers, faculty who also have some industry experience. So,
Um,
professor of practice is definitely a very good thought.
so what's about the industry experience? The industry experience is more important. Like everyone says, like practical learning is more important than theoretical learning. Theoretical learning is a different part, but practical learning, practicality on the ground, what you are learning is different from what you are you have
Exactly. For
learned it.
example, if you have not worked in a hotel, how can you teach students how the hotel operates? I mean, through books you cannot teach. So you have to have worked in a hotel. Unless and until you don't know how a travel agency or a tour operator works, how is the ticket actually being booked? How are the passengers behaving? How are the travelers behaving? How can you bring that to the classroom teaching? So you must, we always look for people who have little industry experience at least. So they come.
Recently, the UGC has also mandated students, the undergraduate students, to. But recently, it's been mandated for the research purpose only. So they have to do mandated to do 3 to 6 weeks of internship. But in this field, the hospitality and tourism management field, it's compulsory. It's automatically compulsory that you have
Yes,
to do
yes,
internship, because that's the most important part
yes,
of that department. So,
exactly.
as the concept of workations, work, and that gains traction. So, how should the hospitality management education evolve to prepare professionals
Uh,
for the hybrid work leisure environment? There should not be any hectic work or mentally harassed work. So there should not be to how the management can work on that.
So you are talking about tourism and hospitality, that how can you work from home? Is this what you're trying to ask or tell?
No, ma'am. It's um, there are few things like you get a hectic situation where you can't work, you can't focus on your work. So how
Yes,
they
I know. So I tell you, for example, good Hussein's in India, and that India's earlier, there were toxic work cultures, but it's not anymore. That is because, especially the branded hotels, I must say, the good hotels, the branded hotels, similarly, the branded companies, they have to have ethical work culture, and they cannot make a person work more than 9 hours. Even for training, they ensure. So that is where that is where they are better category and better class places to work at. And slowly it will catch up, because you cannot make human beings work for extra number of hours without paying them any extra. And very soon, globally, this change will happen. And there was this buzz about people who, for example, the Indians who go abroad and they find the work culture very good. But the Indians who are abroad and they have companies all over India, abroad they will have that kind of work culture, not, but their Indian companies will have that 6 day working. So it has to change in the country, because the laws have to be made stricter. Why only the top class companies need to follow this kind of ethical work culture, but everyone, it should be made mandatory, I guess,
so
because these are, you get tired in these industries, and if you are tired, how can you perform?
and if you perform in that condition, you cannot perform well.
Then you'll get frustrated, and somewhere or the other, it can come out in a very bad way. It can really
Definitely,
hurt.
that's what I was trying to ask you. So the new phase, it's a phase of startups. It's a new wave of startups right now, and there are already many startups in this field, like Booking.com and OYO and many other. There are a lot of um, startups in this field. So, how does your organization, your institution, perform on that? How they inspire students to go for the startups and their own platforms?
Think the good part about being in a university and a separate, if there is a separate institute and there's a different in the university already has a cell, entrepreneurship cell in the university, where students can also do their extra certificate and a diploma program, and they get benefits of these funding also in those cells. While in the department, we encourage the students to be a part of that entrepreneurship cell of the university. But in our own curriculum, also, we encourage them to be entrepreneurs. And even in the curriculum, the students should not just go and be the employees. They should also make people come and work for themselves. So this coaching and learning is happening in, at least in our department, during the curriculum. And as our during 2021, 2022, January 22, we even had an international conference on entrepreneurship in tourism and hospitality. And it was a huge success, because that time we had just come out of COVID, but we hadn't completely come out of COVID in the January of 2022. That Omicron thing had come up again at that time. So, because of these actions, and there was so much of deliberation, there were people from government bodies, there were students, there were scholars, there were people from the entrepreneurial ventures who came and they discussed, and there was a very good platform about how it is the new thing. And because you cannot, the government cannot be always providing for jobs. We also need people who become job providers. So there are a lot of funding agencies. We educate the students how to prepare a proposal, so that they can go and they can get the funding from various investors. um what are the permissions that they require before they are able to open that kind of a startup, and how to think out of the box, and how to think innovatively. And we even encourage our own faculty members to go for these kind of faculty development programs, etc., wherein they can also learn about entrepreneurial education.
All of those that comes into one thing, that's National Education Policy 2020, the new National Education Policy 2020. So what your views are on that? What if you have something to change, what will be that change?
See, we are already undergoing that change. The transformation is already happening. We have a syllabus which we have prepared. It is ready. It just has to be launched because we are in between two academic years. Hopefully, by the next year, the university should launch the new education policy syllabus and it will be taught. So, our homework is all set and done. So, what you're trying to ask me is what difference will it bring?
It
Or
definitely
it gives a lot of choice. For example, I am a student and I want to study hospitality, but I also want to study a particular
definitely
tourism. I have
national
I
curriculum
can
framework.
check. Yes, I can go and I can get and learn some credits from that. Now I want to learn a little bit about AI. So I can also study, I can get some credits from that particular department. And, so I have some freedom that these are the programs. So they'll be like, I'll just read it out to you some, just give me a second. I have it in my download. Just quickly, I'll read out a few things,
Oh,
if you allow me.
yes, sure, ma'am.
So, for example, we have discipline-specific courses, which are major courses, which have to be of that particular field. Then we have discipline-specific minors. Again, they are related to the field, but they are called minors. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. Then you have some multidisciplinary courses. Okay, in which, like I just said, you can study about management or you can study about HR because these are multidisciplinary. Then there are some ability enhancements courses in which probably if you learn a foreign language, it's going to help you. If you go and learn about artificial intelligence, it will help you. If you learn about digital marketing, it will help you. Then there'll be skill enhancement course. If you learn something extra about, food engineering, maybe it is going to help you in your food production program. Then they are value added course. They are experiential learning courses. So these are the different kind of, we try and give credits. And there is, for example, discipline specific courses, you have 40% of the courses taught should be discipline, 20% should be discipline specific minor. Then around 5.5% should be multidisciplinary, this much percentage. 5% should be ability enhancement, around 6% should be skill enhancement. So this is how we have tried to incorporate.
So, apart from all those questions, you have mentioned a lot of things. So, my last question will be, like, what advice do you have for the students that are aspiring for the excellent tourism and travel industry in India, especially in a post-pandemic world?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that. And this is what is one of the most important questions, actually. I say the youth, if you join I'm talking about my department. So if you join my department, we will ensure we are going to make you worldly wise. We are going to make your communication skills very good. Your personality development will take place. So you will become a very thorough professional, a worldly wise person. And this is what actually makes you better in the job market, not just in hospitality and tourism, but they are also scouted for industries like retail, banking, cruise lines. There are so many other industries also. They want people who are, professionals from our field. So when a student joins, then my advice to them is have that passion. Have that passion of, excelling in your field and do very well in the industry. Network with the right kind of people, because trust me, it's actually networking with your peers and your seniors that gets you the new job opportunities. So the better you network, and you should not come with blinkers that just come to the department, to the college, but mingle with other students as well. Sit with people from mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, sit with people who are doing MBA programs, management students, so that your outlook becomes so much broader. mass communication students. So this is what the university life is. So they should come, they should enjoy the university life and become the professionals and be very passionate about what they want to do. And most important thing I say is dress up very well, look professional, so that that charismatic persona of theirs catches attention of the people who want good people in their companies. So
Definitely.
this is what it is. Very simple to follow.
So I myself was a mass comm student, so I better know what it is to be a person who has a good communication skills and all those things. I was a bit shy at the first, but now I'm trying to get better every day.
So, that I'll also say, there are, you just need a switch. I can be an introvert, but when I'm at my workplace, I can just switch. And, it's a part of that act. I have to do well and I can enjoy my work like that. And when
Definitely.
it's my personal time, I can switch off and I can be in my own shell for as much time as I want to.
And most of the people do the same thing actually. Huh? And thank you so much for this insightful things that you have already taught me. Not for me only, for my readers, for my viewers who will be watching this and who will be reading this through our magazine, our videos. So thank you so much for this insightful thing.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, ma'am.